Hello everyone. In the previous video, we saw how to install a multi-layer water supply network. And today we're going to see how to drain that water by installing a polyvinyl chloride drainage system. Then towards a septic tank or the main sewer system. I'm ready to hear your explanation. Please go ahead. Hi, I'm Julian. This container is my house. I'm 26 years old. I have no do-it-yourself skills, but I set myself the crazy challenge of building an eco-friendly and affordable house. I'm also trying to develop my resilience and live in harmony with nature. I'm documenting this journey on my channel, so subscribe to follow along. As discussed in the last video, we're beginning outdoors to discuss the ultimate removal of your utilized eggs. Depending on where your land is located, you'll have several options. The first option is that your town hall has installed a sewer system. In that case, you'll need to connect to it, costing you $3,000 to $5,000 in work and taxes. For the steps to follow, I invite you to check with your town hall. The second possibility, if your land doesn't have access to the main sewer, is that you'll be required to set up a non-collective sanitation system. That means a septic tank. The three primary non-collective sanitation systems are compact filter systems, microstations, and phytoremediation. To put it simply, the microstation and the compact filter system are traditional septic tanks. You can have these installed by your earthworker, and they will filter and treat your wastewater before discharging it into the ditch along your property. Phytoremediation is a more ecological and innovative system that fewer earthworkers are familiar with. That's why installation is more complex. This time, it's plants that will filter and feed on your wastewater and then release clean water. Same in your field, on your land, or in the ditch along the road. I won't delve into these topics here. I've included many related videos in the description. In any case, you'll need to go to your town hall to ask them which department to contact. For sanitation, in my case, it was the Public Service for Non-Collective Sanitation, the Public Service for Non-Collective Sanitation. I had to pay their office, $200, for someone to come to my property, analyze my situation, and advise me on the type of sanitation system to set up. They advised me to use this compact system that filters with coconut husk, because it's a compostable material, so it's more environmentally friendly. This compact system, I then had it installed by my excavator. It cost me 8,300 euros for the system and 1,200 euros for a lift pump. Because basically, my septic tank is too low compared to the ditch at the edge of the property, so I need a lift pump. So there you go, you have a bit of an idea about the prices and the steps to follow for the final disposal of your wastewater. To set up a wastewater drainage system, it will be much simpler than for the water supply, where there were lots of different types of pipes. Here, we only have one type, the polyvinyl chloride pipe. We have several diameters, 32, 40, 50, and 100. We only have one type of pipe, true, but there are different qualities of pipe. I really recommend you choose the ones with the NF standard. It's a quality standard that indicates the pipe is better calibrated, stronger, and fits together more easily. It's pricier but better for your installation's durability. To cut our pipes, we can use a pipe cutter for diameters 32, 40, and 50. For the 100 diameter, the cutter is too small. We'll use a hacksaw miter saw or anything that cuts straight. Cutting polyvinyl chloride is not complicated. However, be careful as it can break if cold. So put it in front of a worksite heater or give it a quick pass with a blowtorch. To get a nice clean cut, we'll then need some sandpaper to lightly sand our pipes and fittings. This will help everything fit together better, and most importantly, it will help the glue grip better. By the way, speaking of glue, polyvinyl chloride glue will be more than enough to stick all this together. It really only costs about 10 euros, and you can find it anywhere. If you can find a jar with an integrated brush, it's more convenient for applying glue to all of this. The process will always be the same. You start by sanding your pipe and your fitting. You roughly apply a generous layer of glue and you snap the two together until they reach the stop without twisting. The glue shouldn't be twisted like that. Just push, wait an hour, and your joint is ready. Basically, it's a pretty easy job. It's mostly about buying a lot of fittings and playing with them like Lego. First, you assemble everything without glue, and then, once you're sure of what you want, you take it all apart and glue it together little by little. So there you go, you'll see. There are several different fittings, elbows. We have reducer fittings to go from 50 to 40, for example, and we have this kind of fitting that can bend. Very practical. I didn't use any in my installation, but it's very practical, and there you go. And we also have traps with air vents. I'll explain that to you a little later. Anyway, don't hesitate to buy a bunch of extra fittings just in case. That way, if you change your mind during your installation, you'll always have fittings on hand. You can return everything to the store for a refund. It's better to have too much than not enough. Let's go. I'll show you the installation. As with the water supply network, I won't show you how I assembled each fitting, as that would be uninteresting. There you go, sand glue, it's done. Instead, I'll show you an overview of my entire network so you can understand everything I've done. And we'll start right next door with the shower. And here, I'm going to have an extra flat trap, which will go under my shower tray. And then a small 40mm pipe that will be attached to the end and go straight down under my container. To connect to my septic tank, which is just below here, a little further away, I have the toilet drain. So I installed a 100mm pipe with an elbow at the bottom that sends everything directly to my septic tank through this 100mm pipe. I'm going to install a specific angled fitting with a perfect seal to connect my ceramic toilet or any other type to it. So I'm going to install it like this, and then my toilet will connect right here. Careful, let me show you something. Let's imagine this straw. It's filled with water, but I've blocked the air from coming in at the top with my finger. The water doesn't come out, so I need to let air in for the water to flow out and leave. It's the same for the toilet. So under my blood pipe, I put a T-joint so that I have two blood pipes going out. One goes to my septic tank, as I explained to you, which brings my water, but a second one goes up to the roof. In my insulation, I ran the blood pipe that goes up to the roof. And at the top, I have a vent that allows air to come in. Why do we put it on the roof? To prevent the smell from the toilet from coming back into the house at some point. But you have to be careful to always let air in so that the water can flow out. It's the same principle for my septic tank, so it can drain the water and also release the gas it produces. I need to install a vent pipe that goes through my insulation, right over there, and goes up to my roof with an opening on top. This vent opening must be located 20 centimeters higher than the vent opening of the toilet, to prevent bad smells from the septic tank from coming back into my toilet drainage system. So there you go, we have our air vent for the toilet with the opening, and we have our air vent for the septic tank. Same thing with the pipe and the opening. And I'll show you in the kitchen how we also created an air vent for the third part of our system. Basically all the rest of the appliances. Let's start in the kitchen with the dishwasher, which will be right here up against the wall. It's a built-in dishwasher, so I can't put any supply or drain behind it. I have to place them here under the sink. My dishwasher will connect to this pipe. The dishwasher outlets are just a hose that you push into the pipe. And here I have a siphon, all of this in 40mm diameter. This siphon will allow water to stagnate here and form a seal so that bad odors don't come back up. Then this water will be renewed every time I run the dishwasher, so it won't be stagnant water. It keeps getting renewed forever. Then we have my 40mm pipe that continues. And here, just a simple pipe, no trap, because my trap is here. It will be screwed under my sink. It's the one that will prevent bad odors from coming back up. Critically, this unique trap features an integrated air vent. Normally on your system, as I showed you, for the toilets and for the septic tank, you need to install an air vent so the water can drain out. Usually, it's a T like this, where you put a small fitting with an air vent membrane. It's more complicated to set up, it's more expensive, and it takes up more space. Here, I found this trap with the integrated air vent membrane. It's much better. I recommend this to you. So there you go, that's how it'll be. My evacuation here. So my dishwasher, my sink continues with a 40mm diameter pipe. A small elbow, and it goes to the other side of this wall into the bathroom. Here we are on the other side of the wall in the bathroom. we have a 40 mm diameter elbow that connects to a 50 mm diameter T-joint. For this setup, we'll use a 50 mm diameter since we're connecting many things to it. On the other side, there are two 40 mm pipes. We have two more drains, so we're switching to 50 mm. So on this side, we have a T-joint in 50 mm diameter with an inspection cap at the end. This will allow us to clean out our drain if it ever gets clogged. It's convenient to always have access points. If I had installed a simple elbow and it got clogged, I couldn't fix it. Whereas here, I can use a tool and clean this whole part. On this T-joint with a diameter of 50, I put a reducer and a 32 pipe, this 32 pipe. It will be used to handle the drainage from my sinks, both sinks in my bathroom. Under these two sinks, I'll do the same as I did for the kitchen sink. I'll install a siphon with an integrated aerator membrane, a 32 siphon. This time, while in the kitchen, it was a 40 siphon, so here I'll have my siphon. Here it drains into the 32, then goes back into the 50, and further along here. T, diameter 50, reducer, diameter 40. And I made the same siphon system as for the dishwasher in the kitchen, but here it will be for the washing machine. There you go, it's exactly the same thing. And my circuit in diameter 50, I'm careful, actually, with all my circuits. In general, I make sure that they always have a minimum slope of 1% so that the water can drain out. That's called gravity. There you go. And so here we have our network going down, and arriving here. So here, it will come back down under my container and then connect to my septic tank. By the way, I'm also taking the opportunity to put in a T-joint with a 40 mm diameter, which will accommodate the insulation that's being installed, which will accommodate the drain for my water heater that will be placed right here. Because when water heats up, it expands. So the water heater always releases a little bit of water, so you need to plan for a 40 mm drain. Nothing is installed yet because I'm waiting to put the water heater in place before gluing and fixing everything. But you get the idea. It will go like this. The T and everything will go under the container. By the way, speaking of what happens under the container, well, come on, let's go outside and I'll show you a bit how my whole setup comes together. Drains into my septic tank. The advantage of a foundation with screw piles is that I still have 20 to 30 centimeters underneath the containers so I can work and so I can run things through. So here we have the water supply and here we have the wastewater drainage, the drainage. It goes through this inspection chamber, which will take my wastewater to my septic tank over there, this inspection chamber. It is supplied by a 100 millimeter diameter pipe on which I have installed a T. On this T, my toilet connects, which goes directly into the septic tank. And on the upper part, I will put this reducing sleeve to go from 50 millimeter diameter to 40 millimeter diameter. There we go, and with that, it will allow me to bring my shower, which will come out here. So here, I'll need to drill a hole, and then I'll connect my shower with a 40 millimeter diameter pipe, and then a bit further, under my container. I'll have the rest of my appliances coming in with a 50 millimeter diameter pipe, which will be connected as well. Boom, we have a working setup with a 50 mm diameter pipe, a 40 mm diameter pipe, and a toilet with a 100 mm diameter pipe, all connected to the septic tank. To sum up my drainage system, we have the shower with a 40 mm diameter pipe and the toilet with a 100 mm diameter pipe, both directly connected to the septic tank. And then we have the rest of the appliances that discharge their wastewater in pipes with a diameter of 40 or 32 mm depending on the appliance, leading to the main 50 mm pipe, which is connected to the septic tank. Let's assess this project, its duration, and crucially, its cost to me. First of all, in terms of time, it took me about 3 days to install my entire drainage system. All in all, that's pretty quick. Once you have the right fittings and you've thought through your project, you just assemble and glue everything together. It's really not complicated. In the end, what takes the most time is calling the public service for non-collective sanitation to find out what type of septic tank you need to install. Then, I need to call public service for non-collective sanitation again later to validate my installation and start up the septic tank. Administrative procedures can take some time, but the actual work site itself only takes a few days at most. And now, the question that interests you more than how long it takes is really how much it costs. I'll give you a detailed breakdown. I paid 200 euros for the spank, 8,300 euros for the septic tank, plus 1,200 euros for the lift pump. 90 euros for polyvinyl chloride pipes, 80 euros for fittings, 10 euros for glue, 20 euros for a pipe cutter, and 50 euros for a vent cover. The total budget is 9,700 for servicing and 250 for materials. That totals 9,950 euros. As you can see in the budget, the most expensive item is the non-collective sanitation. But a septic tank isn't necessarily much more expensive than a main sewer connection. I'll explain it to you. First, the price of land with access to the main sewer is often higher than that of land without a sanitation system. Knowing that the main sewer still costs about 4,000 euros in the end, a septic tank only costs 6,000 euros more than the sewers. You have to look at the price of the land. Sometimes it can be more interesting to have a plot without a sanitation system. Also, when you buy a plot of land, you will pay taxes to local authorities and the state, as well as fees to the notary, depending on the price of your land. So that means that plots with access to the main sewer system cost more. And so they will result in more taxes and higher fees than plots that don't have access, which require a septic tank. So in the end, if we take all that into account, well, we end up with the same cost. Let's compare a plot with a sewer system to one where you need to add a septic tank. Ultimately, that's not the key factor in selecting a plot of land. It's going to be a lot of other things that are unique to you. We've reached the end of this video, which I hope was concise, short, and effective. A bit like my drainage system. One last piece of advice, plan your network well in advance. So that it's compact, make sure everything is in the same place and doesn't use too many pipe fittings. You'll save time and money. If you didn't understand today's explanations, feel free to check the description for additional tutorials. And above all, don't hesitate to ask your questions in the comments, and also don't hesitate to answer other people's questions, so that this video and the comment section can help as many people as possible. And if you find that this video was useful for you, that it taught you a lot about plumbing or something else, I don't know. Don't hesitate to come help us in return by supporting us financially on Typee and Utip to help us fund these videos. You can also buy all this equipment in the video description through affiliate links that support us a bit financially. For any personal or professional audiovisual projects, feel free to contact ETK Productions. I'll see you in the next videos where we'll work on the electrical installation and insulate the floor. There will still be many things left to do inside the house. So, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would be a shame to miss all these upcoming adventures. Remember to subscribe on TikTok and Instagram too. We post exclusive short videos, 1 or 2 minutes long, to show you other aspects of the construction site. I also make stories to show you daily life here in this house. So there you go. Follow us on all our social media. We're having a good time. See you in 2 weeks for the next video. This was Julian. Goodbye.